So one thing I will say is that, I may have mentioned this somewhere else, but I don't know, maybe the last 10, 12 something years of my life, I was totally not really involved in what was going on in pop culture at all. I was touring, making music, and doing my thing, but I wasn't definitely, for sure, not listening to secular music. Was definitely not involved in any level on what was going on with movies, Hollywood. I don't remember the last time I even watched a movie. Maybe 15 years ago. I even, let alone I haven't had internet in my house at least for the last 12 years, something like that. So all that changed in 2020. In 2020, I had to get the internet because of the pandemic. My kids needed to learn. I needed to work from home. And so therefore, I had it, and not only that, everybody wanted to know what was going on with the world. For the first time, major breakdown. For a lot of those who would have identified as Puritans, that would have maybe kept themselves out of what was going on in in the world, so to speak, the secular world even. And one of the things that, obviously became interesting because of the way that the world was running at that time is that everything became political. Everything became about which side you were on. I didn't understand this in the beginning. I was working with a marketing team at first, and George Floyd got killed, a few weeks or so after I released Motherland Bounce, I remember. And the whole world was in an uproar about that. And so from that, I remember blacking out the IG page and whatever. The marketing team, that's what they were telling me to do. I didn't understand all the dynamics, everything that was going on. So whatever, we did whatever they said, and more things start to rear their head, and I was able to actually see what was going on, and that it looked like I was choosing a side, that I was very pro Black Lives Matter, and everybody knows what a hoax that became to be. I started to realize something, that my value system and how I've always looked at the world very much so differs than what is going on in the mainstream. I started to pay attention. I went back. I had no idea what was going on. You have to realize this from a political standpoint. It's crazy, but for me, I logged off from the world. I'm just giving you my perspective. I logged off from the world when Donald Trump was the homie. You understand what I'm saying? I left the world of what was going on in entertainment, and Donald Trump was still that guy, right? And held to be so by many of those in Hollywood, the Hollywood elites, in the music world, the black world, whatever the case was, Trump was that guy. And as years go on, whatever, he wins the election, the whole everything. I didn't even follow that. I didn't follow 2016. That's how out of it. I didn't even know. But all of a sudden, I knew everybody hated Trump for some reason. I didn't know why, whatever the case was. So I decided to do my own research. Now I have internet. I have it before. So I wanted to figure out what was going on. What happened at all these debates? What was the whole everything? And the more and more I looked into everything, it was very, very clear for me that not only am I a conservative, I'm more conservative than conservative. I mean, I think the absence of God, I think the absence of truth, everything that's being portrayed in the media, this is not like some of those, it's not about the election. We are in a fight for our lives right now, for our very life. It's not about policies. This is a war between good and evil, pure evil, not little evil. You talk about Rishoyim, Shabbat Rishoyim, Mamash. So it became very, very clear. One of the first things I noticed was that on the left, everything was emotions. I didn't hear anybody articulate a reason why they were a Democrat that didn't have anything to do with wokeness, which are not reasons to be a Democrat, right? I didn't hear, I saying, I'm just being honest. And as time has went on, I maybe heard one or two people have some good talking points, maybe one or two. But almost any conservative that was asked, especially person that was black, which obviously I favored looking at other black conservatives, were very articulate on why they became a black conservative, why they left the Democratic Party, if they were ever a part of it. It was very, very clear. So I think, one of the things I can say to a lot of you who may be voting blue, which you probably already turned this off by now, because another characteristic of people on the left is they cannot hear anything that goes against what they believe. They can't even stand it. They're so vicious, and that's how you know it comes completely from the Satan, the Sitra Achra, the devil itself. Is that people like that? They have to fire you from your job. They have to do something, some type of aggression, either actual aggressive or microaggression, because they disagree with you politically. That's not one of the simanim that these people are complete evil. And I'm not talking about every person who decides to vote on the left. I'm talking about the overall, the elites in the left, for sure the elites in the left, because they know how wicked they are. But definitely the people that become vicious and antagonist whenever you disagree with them, or whenever somebody from the right has a different opinion or states that opinion. Freedom of speech goes, everything goes. So anyway, I'm back. I had to stop somewhere really quickly. My thing is this. I think that it's very clear, it became very clear for me that Donald Trump was the choice candidate and who to go for. He's anti-establishment. He was good for the country. He ran America like a business because he's a businessman. And so the success that America's seen during his 4 years is completely in contrast with the 4 years that we just seen under the Biden-Harris administration. It's like, I don't even understand what people are even talking about. Like, what are the talking points? Everything that the left has done. I'm just trying to wake up somebody. Can somebody wake up and realize that you haven't heard anything yet, except for they ask Kamala Harris, so what is your policy? Well, Donald Trump is a fascist. So no, I'm sorry, Mrs. Harris. Do you have any policies that you would like to share with us? The Trump himself. He shot down. One of the. Okay, shkoyach. What about you, lady? What about you? Everything the left has done, especially these last 3 days before the election, come on, has been nothing except for character defamation. They have nothing, and it's the same emotion they were running with in 2020. With Joe Biden, no, he's racist. Everything was Black Lives Matter, emotional, woke, the whole everything. It was all emotion. Everything they have done is try to get people emotional about things. And people fall for this, and they never even tell you what they're gonna do for you. They never tell you how they're gonna help you, how they're gonna help you succeed, how and I'm not talking about just black people. They're bad for everybody. I'm not saying the left. I'm saying the leftist elites that, I'm not saying that it's impossible for somebody good to come from over there. I'm just saying that it's very rare that anybody good's going to come out of there. And if they are, they wake up and they become a Republican. So I think there's a major. So I think the question is, why not? Why not Donald Trump? It's all fake. It's all baloney. I mean, if you see just a few years ago, all these people that are, he's this, he's that, or whatever, were praising Donald Trump. They were with Donald Trump. Like, come on, man, this stuff is fake. And for me, I was able to see it better. You know why? Because you don't got me. News, Hollywood, CNN, mainstream, anything. I don't listen to your music. None of you secular mainstream people talking about garbage and disrespecting. None of your filthy movies that you're indoctrinating people with. I don't watch your movies, right? You don't got me. I'm not watching your news, right? I'm not watching your twist of all the different stories. I'm not watching you. You don't have me. I'm not on social media. I give to social media, but I'm not consuming. I'm not sitting on social media, whatever. I put stuff out. So there's no way for you to get a person like me, because I'm not consuming from you. Most people don't realize that the opinions that you have, that you're strong about those opinions, they're not yours, and they have nothing to do with you. They were talking points are different things that were indoctrinated inside of you, but they don't belong to you. And because everybody's so consumed with social media and the box and being sucked into all of this, because everybody's consumed in that, they don't know what they really think. They don't know what they really feel, because they don't know themselves, because they don't deal with themselves. They don't sit with themselves. People don't enjoy silence. People can't sit in a place quietly and talk to Hashem, or talk to themselves even, to figure out who you really are. So for me, it's a clear choice. Mega 2024, and everybody else who's too either religious or feel they're self-righteous, they can never vote for a person who tweets the things that Donald Trump tweets, who says the things that Donald Trump says, and all this other stuff like that. Listen, I want to say for any of you, if you are already watching movies and you already are consumed in any form of pop culture, and you scroll social media and you're involved in what's going on in the world, I'm saying whatever the case is, you're entertained by Hollywood and all this other stuff and consume this, you see this type of vileness every single day, and you've already accepted it as a part of your society. You probably say the same things Donald Trump says in tweets to other people. And if you don't, and you're not that type of person, you enjoy it in other forms, right? You just don't want your president saying that. And some people say, oh, well, I understand. You've already accepted that part of society. So we have a teaching, understanding in Judaism, right? The leader has to match the generation that he's leading. So the people that Moses was leading we're on a higher level than the Jews that Joshua was leading. It was another madrega, as we saw. It was another level. And with every subsequent generation, as there was what we call Yeridas or Doris, as the generations went down, you only got a leader that was appropriate for your generation. Hillel, who was one of the greats during the time of the second temple, is brought that he would have had the spirit of prophecy had his generation would have been on a higher level. So I'm sorry to tell you, looking at the candidacy of Donald Trump and Harris, and even looking into the future of what's going to be. And I know other people may have some I don't know how many people there are to be excited about on the left. Almost I can't even think of anybody. If somebody was that exciting, they already plopped Kamala in there. They would have plopped somebody else in if there was somebody else that was exciting, right? In the conservative side, I think you have some people, JD. I'm a Byron Donalds guy, whatever the case is. However, looking at what you have says a lot about what the generation is, what the generation consumes, what level the generation is on. So don't come with all that, oh, I can't, like you deserve some some amazing speaking and very well mannered or whatever. The whole generation's degenerate. The children talk back to the parents. They're disrespectful, and nobody says anything. People, I grew up at that point. It's crazy to see kids, smoking marijuana with their parents, and the whole entire everything that's going on with the TikToks is mothers more consumed about the TikTok followers than they are about getting their kids school. This is the generation you live in. Expecting to have a leader that's better or greater than the generation that you live in, meaning that it doesn't match, it can be better than the people, but I'm just saying it's a very, very hard and it's an unreasonable ask is what it is. Listen, so sorry for whoever this offends. I'm kind of sorry, but that's another thing. People should not have opinions that are offensive to you, right? If I have an opinion, what's that got to do with you? I can tell you my opinion. You cannot like my opinion, but you being offended by it, that's your own personal thing. God bless every single one of you. Hopefully, this was for some reason other than just me riding around in the car holding this heavy camera talking for no reason. Thank you so much. I'm voting for Trump twice. This will be my second time voting for him. And foreign policy is the main thing I'm taking to the ballot as I'm an American living abroad. And if anybody has any objections, there is nothing about Biden or the Biden-Harris administration that screams anything good about foreign policy. I mean, disgusting, complete throw up, starting with Afghanistan. All right, so I just had to let you guys know that, get some things off my chest. I'm wishing everybody only good things, blessings, besot, tovot. You should have all good news.